Good morning and welcome to Authentic Conversations with Moji. How are you? Happy New Year. My God, what an amazing year this has been. Well, amazing 2020. It has been. It's been a while. Ṣílẹ̀kùn ayọ̀ mi o, bàbá ṣílẹ̀kùn ayọ̀ mi. Ìbànújẹ́ ò jẹ́ kó jìnnà sí ilé wa. Wàá múnú wa dùn, bàbá onílé ayọ̀. Ọ̀rọ̀ ayọ̀ wa má jẹ́ kó pa wá lẹ́kún. Ṣílẹ̀kùn ayọ̀ wa o bàbá ṣílẹ̀kùn ayọ̀ wa. Ìbànújẹ́ o jẹ́ kó jìnnà sí ilé wa. Wàá múnú wa dùn bàbá onílé ayọ̀. Ọ̀rọ̀ ayọ̀ wa má jẹ́ kó pa wá lẹ́kún. Basically, the song is so simple. It says, open the doors to our happiness, oh God. Open the doors to our happiness. May what bring us happiness not bring us tears. That's my national anthem. I've been singing that song for God knows 10 years. And you guys that have been following me or are my Facebook friends, you know that song, but you should know that song by heart anyways. So anyways, it's Moji Solo Wilson. Good morning. And we all made it into 2021. 2020 was a crazy year, but it was also a year of many, many buildings. People starting new businesses, people starting new careers, people doing all sorts. So today we're going to be talking really about the question I had in my head today was, are we all destined to be successful? I know you're thinking, oh my God, what is she talking about? Hold on tight. We're going to have an amazing conversation today. If you'd like to join in, please inbox me, let me know that you'd like to join in and I'll bring you right in, or say so on the show, because we all have something to bring to the table. Well, as you notice, my background is kind of different. I'm on a village. I call it a village. It's in Texas. We're not, my family and I have been here for quite a while. We went home for a couple of days and came right back. It gives an amazing feeling of peace and serenity. We're in the woods somewhere on a 40-acre ranch. It's really nice and quiet here. But welcome back to Authentic Conversations. Every year I manage to come up with a theme. A few years ago, it was a journey to authenticity. Then the year after that, the year was going to be the year of truth. My God, that was one of the hardest years I had ever. Because, when you tell the truth, you kind of have to face the truth as well, right? But I grew a lot. I must tell you, I grew a whole lot when I went through that year of telling of truth. So we did the year of truth. And then last year was the year of authenticity. The year of authenticity actually came with a lot of truths as well. And it came with examining my moral compass and the things that were important to me. And thank God, the year of authenticity also happened to come along with COVID. And COVID made a lot of us redefine what's important to us and what isn't, right? So please say hello and share the video for me. If you're new to this platform, welcome. It's great to see you. And if you are an old friend that's on here all the time, please say hello so I can acknowledge you. And so today we're going to be talking about, are you destined to be successful? Now, the first question we have to ask ourselves is, what does success look like to us? One of the things that I realized along the years is that for many of us, we thought being successful was having a whole lot of money. Mind you, I'm not saying money doesn't help. But what I realized along my journey has been the fact that success looks differently to each and every one of us. When I was younger, having a lot of money meant a lot to me. Being successful meant I drove Mercedes Benzes or had fancy cars or lived in a big house and all that stuff. And then when the economy crashed, I realized that it's not really about money. It's about purpose. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody. It's not really money. For me, I don't know what success looks like to you. It's about purpose. It's about serving. And once I was able to define what success looked like to me, and I was comfortable in my skin, then I must tell you, then I felt truly, really successful. Because for a lot of people, when they have a lot of money, that's what success means. But I see a lot of people around me that have a lot of money and they're not happy. I see a lot of people around me that own Fortune 500 companies and they're not happy because they're not walking in their purpose. They're not serving. See, when you create a niche where you are serving people, for me, that was when I realized I was successful. For instance, I do this show. I've been doing this show for about 7 years. Authentic Conversations. There was Breakfast Emoji in the beginning, and then I turned it to Authentic Conversations. And I realized that I have found more joy and peace doing this, speaking. And now I'm getting paid for speaking because I became a certified life coach. And I also became certified in the same thing I've been doing for many, many years, right? I became certified as a diversity and inclusion specialist. So I do workshops and things like that. So your gifts, your natural gift, the things that makes you that lights the fire in you, can bring you money. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the thing about it is that the love of money is truly, and I never believed that, the love of money, not money itself, is truly the root of all evil. What do I mean by that? When people are thinking about success, they think, oh my God, you have to break all the laws, you have to break all the rules and things like that. And that's truly not how it happens. Because once I started to fix my moral compass, right? Once I fixed my moral compass, things kind of got crazy a little bit. Once I couldn't live a lie anymore and I couldn't, compromise my integrity or bend the rules here and there. I lost a lot of friends. I lost a lot of contacts and things like that. But what I realized is that once I fixed my moral compass, I started to attract people that were on the same path as I. And from attracting people, my network grew, not my friend list, but my network grew. And as my network work grew, I started to meet people that could sow into my life, right? So when we talk about success, we have to ask ourselves, what is success? What does success look to each and every one of us, right? A lot of people think success means that, you have people around you that would carry you, or your life is easy. That means you're successful. Another nugget here is that I learned that hardships actually brings us more wisdom, more experience, and it brings us a lot more joy. And I don't mean while you're going through it. I mean, when you're going through a rough time, you think, oh my God, why me? Why is this all going on? But if you really lean into it and you ask yourself, what am I supposed to learn from this? Where is this taking me? Because a lot of times you get derailed. I was number one in real estate on Staten Island, and I'm living La Viva Loca, and I'm flying high, and I'm feeling great about myself. I'm hanging out with senators and, politicians and things like that. And I'm sitting on the board of Staten Island Board of Realtors, but I wasn't happy. I had to ask myself, why aren't you happy? What is it that you're doing that has changed? But thing is, as we grow, our vision changes sometimes, but the passion never really changes, because for me, helping people is why I went into real estate. So now I had to take that and ask myself, how can I better serve people? Once you start thinking once I started to think on the path of serving, as opposed to what I can get from society and from people in general, life became a lot easier. I mean, easier in my terms, but the rough usually gets really, really rough before it gets better. Because as you're like an onion, as you're peeling off the layers that are not really truly you, what happens is that you feel like you're in a whirlwind of sorts. And then you start to get to your inner core, to your core beliefs and your core and your integrity and things like that. Then you start to build boundaries around you. And success. When you talk about success, I met a guy at the airport one day. I was traveling with my wife, black man, sitting there polishing shoes. My wife said, oh my God, I've never had my shoe shined in anywhere, and I would like to experience it. So I'm like, come on, let's go. I dragged her over there and we sat with the guy, and for about 10-15 minutes while he was polishing my wife's shoes, he talked about how he was, I think in the stockbroker or something like that, but he always wanted to polish shoes. Now, mind you, if he had stayed in that field, he would have probably made a whole lot of money, right? But he gave up what he was doing at that moment to chase his passion, which is polishing shoes. But here's the key. People will say he's not successful. To me, he's one of the most successful people I've ever met, because he was doing exactly what he wanted to do. While he was doing that job, he met President Obama. According to him, he's shined the shoes of some of the most important people in the world that cross his path, and he's probably impacted their lives as well. He's probably impacted their lives by giving them ideas, by giving them, you know, um, just by exchanging ideas with people in high places. But to me, the man is very successful. Now, if you ask somebody else, they might say, oh, no, he's not successful. He's not successful because he's a shoe shiner. But sometimes our success is not the title that we carry. Success is not always linked to the title. It's not everybody that's going to be Obama. Everybody is not going to be the vice president or the CEO. Everybody's not going to be in the suites. You could be in the call center and still be the best call center employee that's out there. Because let me tell you, without you working the call center, the CEO is not going to be making the money that they're making. The CEOs are not going to have a business or a private plane to run around in, because the call center people are the ones in contact. It's like when I talk to doctors and things like that, yeah, they always talk about how they're so grateful for the support staff. Doctors are talking about they're grateful for the nurses and the CNAs and a lot of people that people look down on. But because without them, without the CNAs, without the cleaning service, without the people that greet you at the door of a hospital, the customer service goes down the toilet. You're not going to go back to the same place where you were mistreated. So the frontline people are just as important as the CEOs of a corporation. Now, are you going to tell me a CNA that loves a job, that's taking care of families, that's helping elderly people be comfortable in their last leg on this earth, are not important? They're all very important. Look at what happened in COVID. What happened in COVID is all of a sudden, it's not the CEOs that were important anymore. It's the essential workers, like the grocery store clerks, like the gas station people, like the nurses and the CNAs and the EMT people. All of a sudden, those were the people that was considered to be essential workers. Go figure. So when we talk about success, we need to stop for a moment and ask ourselves, what does success look like to us? Now, if you want to be successful, I'm going to ask you to sit down and ask yourself why. Why do you want to be successful? If your reason for being successful is money, you already lost. I'm sorry. That's the truth, though. If your reason, because I sit around, very often my wife and I will sit around and we'll ask our son, what do you want to be and why do you want to be that? And he'll be like, oh, I want to make money so I can drive fancy cars. I'm like, no, you already are not successful if all that drives you is money. You got to find a niche. You have to find something in society. Look at Mark Zuckerberg. He created a platform for people to connect to each other. Last year in COVID, 2020 is allegedly one of the worst years. And Facebook made allegedly over $69 million just from advertising, because now everybody's home. So a platform that was created to connect people where, Mark does not charge for his services has made him a billionaire. So when you start looking at what success looks like to you, ask yourself, why am I doing this? Now, you also have to ask yourself, I always ask, are you destined to be successful? Are you destined to be successful? Because look, God could have given you a gift. And if you do not lean into that gift, if you do not study, if you do not acquire the knowledge, and I don't mean, when I say study, I'm not talking about, going to university and collecting 5-10 degrees. Shuku to everybody that has all those degrees, because a lot of people need to have those degrees so that those of us that only have a first degree can continue to tap into their wisdom as well. We all have value. We all have value. You have to ask yourself, what value do I bring to the table? Because at the end of the day, if you are only in this world for yourself and not bringing value to the table for others to partake in, you're not successful in my books. I mean, Look at, let's use an example of what's a Hush Puppy. He allegedly, well, to most people was very successful. To me, he was never successful because nobody knew how he made his money. The guy was a scammer. And even though he posts all these amazing pictures on social media, I didn't even hear about him because, of course, my mindset is not focused on money. It's focused on the value that people bring to the table. Oh, I'm sitting outside in a village, so there's bees and stuff here. Forgive me, but you have to ask yourself, what value are you bringing to the table? And then one of the most important things that I learned in the past 5 years is that a lot of us, in trying to be popular, we compromise our integrity, we compromise our moral compass, and we compromise ourselves. We let down our boundaries. Without boundaries, you cannot be successful because you cannot hang out with people that are going north when you're trying to go south. You definitely should not be hanging out with people that bring no value to you. And value has nothing to do with age. It has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with your position in life. You could have value from the toilet cleaner, or your housekeeper could bring value to the table. See, on our journeys, right? Everybody serves a purpose. I have learned more from painful experiences than I have learned from good experiences. One thing I took away from 2020 that I want to share with you guys today is that every bad opportunity is an opportunity to grow. Because while a lot of us were complaining about, oh, 2020 is a horrible year, oh, there's no money, there's no this and there's no that, a lot of people were sitting there going, how can I make people's lives so much better? Look at the guy that owned Zoom. He had owned Zoom for talk about 10 years, and he had just been pushing the truck and pushing the truck and pushing the truck all along. And then COVID hit. Everybody started to use Zoom. Zoom for birthday parties, Zoom for funerals, Zoom for this and Zoom for that. Now he's a Fortune 500 company, even in the terms of COVID. Then we have people that created restaurants at home, catering services that were sending meals to hospitals. I, Moji, started a business because I was making masks for hospitals. I wanted to make masks for hospitals, so I started to sew. And now it's grown into Shuku accessories, where I'm doing what I'm passionate about. The money might not come all at once, but the joy that I receive for it makes me feel like I'm very successful. When I started to make masks, other friends on Facebook started to make masks as well. I started to make bags. They're selling bags now. So you have to surround yourself with people that motivate you. Plus, you have to have people that you motivate, that look up to you as well. By the way, I did a show once about mentors, right? We need to understand that there's a difference between a mentor, a sponsor, and a person that gives us advice, right? Again, there's a difference between a mentor, a coach, and a person that sponsors you. Your mentor is not supposed to be the one that's giving you money to run your business. Your mentor is the one that you shadow. Your mentor is somebody that's doing what you're doing, that you would like to learn from. Your sponsor is somebody that helps you put your financial, that gives you a leg up, so to speak. And a lot of people are not willing to do the work to build their companies, to build their dreams, to build their, if you have to eat gari or drink, or eat ramen noodles for 6 months to a year while you're building your business, by all means, that's what you should do. One of the things that Moji did when the real estate industry crashed, is that I was driving a Mercedes-Benz ML430, feeling all fabulous and such. The real estate market crashed, the banks crashed, everything crashed all across the world. So it wasn't anything Moji did to make that happen. But what I did was I sold my Mercedes-Benz. Gas was like $5 a gallon, and ML430, forget it, it's a 6-cylinder, guzzles gas like crazy. I sat in front of a financial planner, and the guy says to me, Moji, if you cut this off and cut that off, I had to shave the fat, basically. So I sold the car. Not only did I not have to pay for insurance, I no longer was paying through the nose for gas. Then I bought a bicycle and started riding a bicycle all around. I mean, you're talking about, this is 2011, 2012, when after I had been number one in the Century 21 system, after all that, I sold my car and was riding a bicycle. I rode bicycles to sell houses. And even during the selling the house, right? Selling the bicycle, I actually became better physically. I became better mentally. There wasn't a whole lot of things weighing me down. And I was able to do better business because I could now use my money in a better way to build my business. So that held me together. I'm a realtor. I'm a licensed real estate broker in New York, and I do business all over the world. So I used that money that I would have been using to pay for the insurance, for the gas, for this, for that, for the ML 430. I used that to buy more advertising things. And I walked around neighborhoods, putting my business cards and meeting people and talking to people. And it paid off because for 2012 came around and business picked up. Mr. Lawson says, success to me means the achievement made after a lot of efforts, which ends up with good results. Shuku to you, Mr. Lawanson, because the thing that you said that really catches me is the achievement made after a lot of efforts, which ends up with good results. Key thing is the achievement made after a lot of efforts. A lot of people are sitting around waiting for, in other people's inboxes, begging for money and to do stupid things. A girl inboxed me about 3 weeks ago. She wanted me to give her 67,000 naira to buy a TV. I was like, what? A TV is not a necessity. I'm sitting in what I call a village right now, and there's no TV in the house. I mean, I didn't die. I read a lot. I did a lot of research, and I did a lot of things that I needed to do. But a lot of people are waiting, are looking at others at what other people have, not caring how they got there. See, like Mr. Lawanson says, the success to me means the achievement made after a lot of efforts, which end up with good results. Sometimes even when I fail, I still think I've been very successful. I open up a restaurant. I have friends that own restaurants, and I keep telling them, I had a restaurant and I'm not going to do it. It's not that I wasn't successful. It was not joyful for me. The hardest work that I've done in my life the hardest times has brought me to where I am today. So instead of avoiding hardships, try to learn from it. Even when I failed at things, it was either because it wasn't the right time or it wasn't for me. And a lot of times things are not meant to happen because we all look around and say, oh, I like what Mr. Lawanson is doing, so I'm going to go do it. But wait, maybe my karma, my destiny is not that thing. Maybe my destiny is to be a farmer. Maybe my destiny is to be a toilet cleaner. Maybe my destiny is to be a toilet cleaner. And while I'm cleaning the toilet, I jam somebody or meet somebody that's going to propel me to my promised land, because my promised land does not look the same as Mr. Lawanson's promised land. Mr. Lawanson might be supposed to be the president of Nigeria or the UK or something, and I'm just supposed to be a layman. Look, if you take the story, I don't like using the Bible, but let's take the story of Jesus Christ. While Jesus Christ was alive, I don't know if people would call him successful. In this day and age, nobody would call him successful because the guy walked around with salubata, like I say, flip-flops. He didn't have any gold clothing on him. His clothing was not made of gold. He had nothing fancy. He rode a donkey while people had chariots. I mean, you're supposed to be this child of God, for crying out loud. And you're just walking around eating, in the bush and sitting around with people that are like, lady by the well, who had a lot of boyfriends and was like cheating on, or I don't know what she was doing. But, people that were not considered to be successful or high society or high class. And Jesus hung out with all of them. Yes, he hung out with taxpayers and all that stuff. But in 2020, Jesus Christ did not have a lot of following. Because if you think about it, a lot of success is people think you're successful because you have 10,000 views. I no longer see that. Sometimes my shows get 100 views, 120, sometimes I get 15,000 views, because the more value you bring to the table, the more you will see that there will be resistance, because we live in a world of instant gratification. So Jesus Christ was never considered successful until after he died. Because when you think about Jesus Christ just walking around, he was born in a manger, not in a fancy house or a fancy hotel. He was born in a manger to a woman that wasn't married to the father. I mean, in 2021, people will be like, he wasn't successful. But look, gazillions of years later, we're still talking about him, and he has like gazillions of followers all over the world. So success looks different to everybody. Success, you must be willing to do the work. Jesus Christ, I say he starved himself for 40 days and 40 nights to be able to speak to God. He walked around from town to town, turning bread into stone. He did everything that a lot of us are not willing to do. He walked in the wilderness. The Son of God walked in the wilderness, and people will be begging for money to buy an iPhone, living in face to face, not willing to make sacrifices, not willing to do the work or network with people. Instead of being jealous of people that are doing what you want to do, network with them. Find out if they could be your mentor. Ask them how they got where they got, and you innovate or find your own niche. I'm not saying go and start selling lace because Mama Joe is selling lace, or don't start doing real estate because Moji is a realtor, because you don't know the prices we paid to get there. People, I laugh a lot because people sit on social media going, tooting their own horns and doing this. I'm like, I don't know. Shuku to all of them that are doing that. But if you take social media successful people, I mean, if I was talking about sex, or I was half naked on social media, or if I was doing gossip and talking about people's lives and things like that, I would have 100,000 followers cold. Or if I'm one of those ratchet women that talk about sex, I mean, a Facebook friend posted about poop and she had 1,000 likes on her post. I post about spirituality and things like that, I get 10, 15. But here's the key: I'm not for everybody. You know, we are not all for everything. You cannot be everything to everybody. That's one of the things that we have to understand. Find your own niche. Are you destined to be successful? If you believe you're destined to be successful, then you have to be willing to do the work. And the work is very simple. The work is finding the fire, finding what it is that drives you, finding what it is that motivates you to get up every day. Find what it is. It doesn't matter how small. If you're a writer, write. You don't have to get paid for it. Get a real job while you're writing, because eventually the doors to your promised land of writing will open up. If you are in Nigeria, people call me from Nigeria all the time, asking for money for this, asking for money for that. And my first question is, and maybe it's because of the work that I have worked, because at one point I was homeless in America when the market crashed for about 7 months before I started to pick myself up. I literally, I'm not lying, I'm not making this up. It's on my Facebook. While I was going through what I call my job moment, I was actually sharing my work on social media. What you realize is that if you lean into your hard times and ask yourself what life lessons you're supposed to learn from it along the path while you're putting one foot in front of the other, everything will make sense. Everything. Because when the market crashed, I started to go to Home Depot to learn how to fix houses and build houses and repair houses and things like that. And then I started to, when the market changed, I started to buy houses, fix them up and sell them. A lot of people, I'm 56 years old. I don't want to be driving Miss Daisy around anymore. So now I'm doing consulting, real estate consulting for people all across the United States that want to buy houses. And I have affiliates, but I also know about houses, because if I was as comfortable as I was in the early 80s and 90s, going into the 2008s, I would not be able to do what I'm doing today, which is picking up houses, fixing them up, selling them, or renting them out. All those things I learned when I lost my home. Now, another thing is that I learned to be much more empathetic to people. A lot of Nigerians are beggars. They're in people's closets, inboxes, begging for money for this, just to shine on social media. Just to shine on social media. I'm as authentic as I come. Some days I wear my weave. Some days I wear my wig. Like today, I have the wig on. But what you see is what you're going to get. And authenticity attracts more people to you. Mr. Abu Ajayi says, outcome of goal setting, it's accomplishment. That's what success means to Mr. Abu Ajayi. Failure can sometimes be success. I repeat, failure can sometimes be success. To me, every time I have failed, I have grown, I have learned something different, I have been elevated. You cannot become gold without going through the fire. You cannot become gold without, even in relationships and friendships. I have learned how to become a bit more protective of my space and to choose my inner circle a lot differently from when in the olden days my gates were just open to everybody. I'm always polite, I'm always cordial, I'm always willing to help people, but I because of the pain that I've been through. For instance, we got married. When my wife and I got married, I thought I was successful because, yeah, I finally was living my authentic life. And, I came out of the closet as a gay person. And, oh my God, it's going to be amazing. And everybody's just going to accept me because I'm Moji. Because I've had, followers, 5,000 friends on social media. I deleted 4,200 and something Facebook friends in the past 4 years because I had to shut the noise down. See, the people that are clapping for you all the time are not your friends. You have to be comfortable enough to have people. If you want to be successful, you must allow your so-called friends to tell you the truth. The truth. Because if nobody's telling you the truth, you're walking around believing your own, not understanding that you can't grow. Because when people truly care about you, they invest their emotions, they invest themselves into you. They might not give you money, but let me tell you, sometimes advice, the right person in your life, giving you direction, helping you to navigate through this puzzle called life, is worth more than somebody that gives you $100 or $10,000 because you'll spend the money and it'll be gone. And now you're back to begging. See, so I honestly believe that who you hang out with, who you listen to. I am a spiritualist. I'm not a Christian. I'm what I call an omnist. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus Christ. And I also do meditations, and I use beads and all kinds of stuff because I studied a lot about spirituality. I use the Bible as my guide because the Bible was written by man. It wasn't written by God. And if you ask me, the Bible has expired. There's a lot of things in there that don't make sense in 2020. There's for instance, you can eat dairy and eat and meat at the same time and all kinds of stuff. You're not supposed to wear whatever. Bottom line is, if you don't protect your space, you can't be successful. For many years, I ran around on social media, helping this one, giving this one money, doing this and doing that. And half the time they were emotional and financial vampires. And we have a lot of people on social media that a lot of us follow, that have nothing. They'll be dashing money away, but be in my inbox asking me for money. And if you don't give it to them, the same people that were calling you a hero, telling you how fabulous you are, they'll turn on you. In 2 seconds, they'll be dragging you on Facebook. The people that you give money to today, you're not helping them unless you know for sure that they need it. If you're one of those people that helps people to feed your ego, you can never be successful. You can never be successful because the resources that you need, time, peace, joy, and finances, will be exerted on people that don't deserve it. It's like when you take your seeds and you go to the mountaintop and you throw it there, it's a waste, as opposed to going to a place that the soil is fertile, right? And planting the seeds and weeding it and watering it and taking the time. You don't plant a seed today and it grows boom tomorrow into an oak tree. It doesn't happen that way, right? So I think if we all take the time to weed our life, because it's the first official Monday in 2021. We have a lot of time to make changes in our lives to become successful. Do you want to be successful in your relationship? Do you want to be successful in your childship, as in relationship with your children? Do you want to be successful in your business? Do you want to be successful with your friends, in your friendships? All that stuff takes investing. And if you're investing all your currency, emotional currency, financial currency, even Facebook connection currency, because that's on its own. I've posted on Facebook. I interviewed King Sunny Ade. Talk about social media currency. That's why I deleted so many people off my page, because a lot of people were just takers, not givers. A few years ago, I posted on social media, I think it was about 2015 or 2014, that I wanted to interview King Sunny Ade because I look up to him. I love his music, yada, yada. And somebody inboxed me. Turned out his son had followed me for many years. I didn't even know. So when you surround yourself with jagbajantis people, you will get jagbajantis. When you surround yourself with people that are cheating, eventually your relationship is going to get jacked up, because the things you read reprogram you. The things you read enters you subconsciously. The things you talk about the most is what happens. The Bible says the tongue is our greatest weapon. To be successful, you have to be grateful. To be successful, in my opinion, to be successful, you must learn how to be grateful. To be successful, you must learn how to be humble. And trust me, honey, you know, when I was number one on Staten Island in real estate in Century 21 system, I thought I was the. But the universe humbled me. Can you imagine living in a 15-room, huge house, one of the biggest houses on the block, to having to sleep in a room on top of a mattress in a friend's house with 4 kids for about 6-7 months? My credit was jacked up. So it was hard to get an apartment. You know, I had just gone through a foreclosure. I just filed bankruptcy. And in those days, people thought bankruptcy was a bad thing, right? Hardship. I filed bankruptcy. And everywhere I walked, God showed up, because I had faith. And my moral compass was not broken. I wasn't going to do what a lot of my friends were doing, which is hanging out with sugar daddies, even though they were gay and all that stuff. That wasn't me. I just wanted to do the right things and try. I'm not going to lie to you. It was the hardest thing I'd ever done in my life, because, you know, when you are successful at an early age as a model and as, you know, a realtor, it's hard to say no to a lot of things. But when the universe, God, Allah, Buddha, whatever that is to you, took everything away from me, I signed away houses, all the houses, to my ex, so I can just get my divorce, right? So I was homeless for a while, but I kept going. I kept doing what I needed to do. I got education. I got more education. Last year, I became a certified inclusion and diversity expert. I took classes online for sexual harassment, because these are all things that enhances what I do as a speaker. What is it that you do that you know that you need more education? What is it that you do what is it that you want to do that gives you passion, that gives you joy, that you're passionate about it, that you will do for free? Mine is speaking. So I've been speaking here for 7 years for free. And people say, oh my God, why don't you be like this one? Why don't you do what this one does? Why don't you do what that one does? I stuck to what I believed in, which is transforming lives. And you might not think it's successful, but 7 years later, I am getting paid. I can't even tell you the kind of money I'm getting paid for. I can't. Speaking for an hour, speaking for 3-4 hours on Zoom, not even having to go anywhere. See, when you are consistent and you do the right things and you surround yourselves with the right people, you will be successful. Success does not always equate money, but it will be nice if you make money doing what gives you passion. It will be nice if you make money doing what gives you joy. In the meantime, I've been speaking for 7 years on social media. I have also kept doing my real estate business. I'm not going to lie. I've been selling homes and I've been doing whatever it is and buying buildings, fixing them up and selling them and doing what I have to do. And in 2020, I sat down and asked myself this ultimate question, which I want you to ask yourself. I looked around me at all the people that are around me, and I said to myself, what value do they bring to my life? What am I learning from them? What am I learning from them? I have spiritual mentors. I have business mentors. I have, name it, mentors for almost everything in my life, because if you can't see it, it's kind of hard to achieve it. And I don't copy everything my mentors do. I just follow them on social media. Some of them don't even know I'm there, but I call them my mentors. You know, like I remember Oprah used to do all these shows that were like very tabloid, you know, very, very horrible shows. And then she just switched. And when I started, I used to do crazy shows. We talked about sex, we talked about this, we talked about that, but it wasn't fulfilling for me. I got a lot of people watching and I got a lot of people that followed me, but it wasn't fulfilling. So I switched about 2014, 2015, I switched. And you have to trust your instincts. You have to trust yourself. You have to trust that spirit that sits on your right shoulder or left shoulder that's telling you this is the right thing to do. Even when it doesn't feel right, even when it's painful, you have to listen to your spirit, because your spirit is God speaking to you. Your spirit is the universe connecting to you. And I ask you to be successful. I'm going to share one more nugget with you before I go. For me, I realized to be successful, I needed space for me to be me. I stopped looking at people to say it's okay to be gay. It's okay to be a lesbian. It's okay to be married. It's not their business. My God and I, we communicate, and he told me I'm not garbage. So then why do I need social media people to tell me it's okay? I no longer beg people to accept me. You're not getting paid for being on my show. Actually, you should be paying me for being here. But seriously, you're not getting paid for being here. So if you're willing to take your time to come sit on my timeline to abuse me because you think my life is an abomination, then it's your headache, not mine. So you have to get to the point where you become fearless. And no matter what people are saying around you, you don't let it affect you. I got dragged 2-3 weeks ago on social media because I said women should not, Nigerian women should not be cheating on their husbands with other people. I got dragged over nails. In the past, I would have come out and wasted time, my time currency. I would have wasted it and dragged them too. I didn't care. It bothered me, it hurt. But what I realized is that that's their walk. That's as far as they know. And we're all on different paths. We're all at different places on our journey. So if I speak my truth or the truth and they're not willing to accept it, it's not my business. So I could care less who accepts my relationship. I could care less who accepts where I'm going in life or what I'm doing. What I focus on are the people that are important to me. Now, if my wife comes and says, oh, Moji, you see that post that you put, or somebody says, you see that post that you put, it hurt my feelings, I'll try and explain where I'm coming from to them. Because my mission is not to hurt people. So success to me is being of service to others. Success to me is not having to compromise my moral compass. Success to me is living the life that I choose. Today, I'm going to ask you to ask yourself, what does success look like to you? What does success feel like to you? Because there's one thing to look successful, and there's another to be successful. What do I mean by that? There's a lot of people on social media that they post fancy clothing, fancy houses, and it's not theirs. And you're killing yourself trying to copy them. The successful people that you should really be following, you don't follow because they don't have 100,000 followers, because they don't have $10,000 in the bank. They're not giving you free money. They're not giving you giveaways. But you can get information. You can get motivation from people that are not giving you money. Again, there's a difference between a mentor. There's a difference between a mentor, an advice giver, and a person that sponsors you. A sponsor is somebody that gives you money. A mentor does not always have to give you money. And that's where a lot of people go wrong. Are you destined to be successful? Most of us will say yes. Then my next question is, are you willing to do the work to be successful? Are you willing to make sacrifices? Are you willing not to go to those parties where you have to buy Ashoebi every weekend? Are you willing not to be the most popular person in your group so you can get to your promised land? Because we all can get to our promised land and we all can be successful, but we cannot be successful like every Tom, Dick, and Jones, because that's not our destiny. Are you destined to be successful? Ask yourself that question. My name is Moji Solo Wilson, and this is Authentic Conversations with Moji. I hope you will share this video, because I believe that this message is for someone out there. I don't know who it's for. But in sharing the video, you're helping the world. It's not just about you coming to my page to absorb what you can. It's about helping each and every one out there to get to their promised land. And I tell you, oh my God, what a year, what a week, what a month. The past 3 weeks has been phenomenal. I actually posted on my page yesterday. I said, I'm so grateful because a few years ago I tried to commit suicide. Yeah, 3 times because I thought I was an abomination and this and that. Imagine if I had committed suicide, I wouldn't be here today. I was successful in the eyes of the world. I owned a restaurant, successful restaurant. We were making money. My real estate company was making a lot of money. And I just wasn't comfortable in my skin because I was living a lie. Authenticity leads to success. Vulnerability leads to success. You cannot be successful without defining who you are, without knowing who you are, without understanding. It's like, I hear a lot of women talk about, oh, I want a rich husband. And I'm like, honey, you want a rich husband? Shuku to you. Do you want a rich husband or do you want a good husband? Because a good husband usually has money too sometimes, right? So if you just want a rich husband and you get a rich husband that's going to beat you to death, that might be your definition of a successful relationship. But without defining what it is that success means to you, you have no roadmap to get there, right? Who else is on here? Say hello. Happy New Year to you, John. It's good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Mr. Abu Ajayi, thank you for joining us. If you're new to the show, please hit like. Do me a favor, like the page, follow the page so that when we get shows, when we go live or post new videos, you're able to join us. My name is Moji Solo Wilson. It's been an amazing, amazing journey. My life is a testimony of the grace of God. Without grace and being at the right place at the right time, without, like I said, a lot of people are going through it. And I just want you to know that your pain is not going to be wasted. One of the reasons why I started on this series for the month of January is because I read about a young woman who committed suicide a few days ago, and she had a lot of allegations and things like that, but she committed suicide without even wait, because she was probably despondent and didn't see a way out, right? But imagine being surrounded by people and you're still feeling alone and lonely. I've been there. I know what that feels like. So I think it's time that we start to share our wealth. And when I say wealth, I don't mean cash. I mean wisdom. I mean, wisdom, guidance, all of that with each other. Authentic Conversations is the name of the show. Authentic Conversations with Moji. We talk about the good, we talk about the bad, we talk about the ugly. But in 2020, we're going to talk a lot about wealth building, about becoming successful. And when I talk about wealth, I don't always mean money. Wealth could be your network of people, the people in your sphere. Wealth could be your health. Wealth could be your spiritual and mental being. Wealth could be pretty much anything that adds value to your life. But to become wealthy, to become successful, you have to have boundaries around you. You have to build a network of people that feed you and you feed. Again, I don't mean wealth. I don't mean money. I don't mean currency. I'm talking about people that feed you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, people that motivate you to become a better version of yourself, people that will tell you the truth, even when it will hurt. That's how we all get to our promised land. And if you tell me that you're scared of being successful, you're scared of your dreams, honey, if your dreams don't scare you, you better go right back to bed. Because without fear is a good thing. People always tell me, oh my God, I'm so afraid, Auntie Moji, I'm so afraid. Be afraid, but use your fear to propel you to the next level. Use your fear to propel you to the next level, because without fear is intuition. Without fear, you're just going to be banging your head and bumping your head all over the place. When you meet a person and your spirit kicks it against that person, there's a reason for it. Stand back, watch them, understand why their demon bothers yours. Because look, in the past, I used to say haters, they just hating on me. Then I realized that some people are not really hating on me. Some people are just telling me the truth. They're just telling me the truth. And once I started to, one of my biggest prayers is to have the power of discernment. Once I started to use that gift of discernment, I was able to see through people that were saying mean and hurtful things because they themselves were hurting. as opposed to people that are just bloody narcissists, right? So I could differentiate people between somebody that's going through a hard time at the moment and just lashed out at me because I was there, so I could forgive them, and somebody that's just a professional harasser, right? What does success look like to you? And are you willing to pay the price? 3 questions, 3 take home from this show today. What does success look like to you? Are you willing to pay the price for success? Is your moral compass intact? That's under the willing to pay the price for success. Because to become successful, you have to have integrity. You have to serve a purpose in people's life. Look at all the successful people. Virgin Airline guy, successful because he wanted to create an airline that people could afford. Mark Zuckerberg, I call them, wanted to create a platform for people to connect. Right? A lot of people, Oprah wanted to do shows that would improve people's lives. She became a gazillionaire. Once she stopped doing what the world wanted her to do and she did what she felt in her heart to do. Think about how you can help the world be a better place. It could be from an invention. It could be from your writing. It could be from your post on social media. What are you contributing to the world? Are you one of those people that just post jagojantis all day? I post comedy, I post food, I post, I'm just living my life. Are you following people that are misogynists when you have children that are daughters? Are you following people that abuse people all day and gossip? You're spending your time currency that you can never get back on things that add no value to your life. Being successful is not always being a billionaire. You could be, earlier on I used the story of the man who was a stockbroker and decided he wanted to shine shoes. From shining shoes, if he was a stockbroker, he would never have met Obama. He would never have met all these top amazing people that he's met. I also use the story of Jesus Christ, because when Jesus Christ was on earth, he was doing amazing things. He was the Son of God. He could have been what? He could have had a jet plane or donkey in those days. But he was a simple man. And in 2021, people when they look at him, they'll be like, oh, he's not successful. He's not wearing Versace or Armani. And if Jesus Christ came to earth today, a lot of us won't even let him in because he looked crazy. Long flowing hair, looking all busted, sleeping in the jungle for 40 days and 40 nights. I mean, who does that? But he stuck to what he knew was his calling. Because let me tell you, if I'm about to get nailed to the cross next to 2 thieves, I'm sorry. In as much as I talk about integrity and this and that, I don't think I will be like, God, Dad, no, I don't want to do this. But he stuck to his principles. And the more God-like, Jesus Christ-like I am trying to become, the more success is coming my way. The more I tweak my moral compass to be intact, the more I am attracting good, successful people. 3 things today I want you to take away. Success. We can all be successful, but we cannot all be successful the same way. So stop copying people that are doing something. Because Moji is selling bags, you start selling bags. Because Shukura, Johnny is doing this, you start doing it. No, that might not be your calling. Sit down for a few and ask yourself, what is it that I'm passionate for, or about? Are you passionate for women in domestic violence relationships? Are you passionate? Like, I'm passionate about LGBTQ issues. I'm passionate about African LGBTQ issues. So I do that. I'm passionate about Black Lives Mattering. So I help to empower Black youths, not by giving them money, but by helping them to find what they're passionate about. To me, that's successful. And to some people, because I'm not getting paid doing that, that's not successful. But here's the deal. When I donate my time to help this youth become their authentic, successful selves, along the way somewhere, my success will be linked to something along that path. Because the person that has the keys to my promised land might be in the, like, for instance, I volunteer with women that have that are in domestic violence shelters. Along the way, I might just meet somebody else that's volunteering in that place, because the most successful people are people that are giving of themselves, not money, of their time, because money you can make. Time is the most valuable thing that you cannot get back, right? So if you donate money to charities, shukru to you. But getting involved is an important part. Sharing my story with people. I have met so many people that on social media that I would never have met in real life. I got to interview Sonia Day. I got to interview one of the presidential candidates of Nigeria, 2016. I mean, so much you gain from being, of wanting to serve. So ask yourself, what does success look like to me? Am I willing to pay the price to become successful? And is money connected to success? Those three things. If you ask yourself those three questions, the answers to what is my purpose will come out of it. The answer to how do I pay my bills eventually will come out of it. Because when you start, like I said, I spoke for almost 7 years without getting paid. And then I got certifications as a certified life coach. And now I coach people to get to their, to guide them to get to their promised land. I'm not a therapist. I'm a life coach. You come to me with an idea and I help you build it out to achieve it. What does success look like to you? My name is Moji Solo Wilson. I thank you all for contributing. Please share the video, like the page if you're new. And if you're not new, thank you for coming back. May 2021 be a successful, amazing year for each and every one of us. Namaste.